Hello and welcome to another episode of Cowbells and Conversations. My name is Allison Clark, and our next guest is someone that I met through the National Speakers Association. We were attending a session together, and he sat next to me, and I'll never forget, when we started talking, he said he wrote a book on smiling, and I said, "Oh my gosh!" And immediately I knew that I was going to like him. So when we leave this conversation today, you're going to get some ideas about the power of the smile and how it can help you personally, but also professionally. So please help me welcome my friend, Darryl Davis. Woo!
Oh my gosh, I even get applause, virtual applause. I love it.
Yeah, don't you love it?
I love it.
Darryl, so tell us first where you live, and then also a little bit about your family and also about your pets, because you have some interesting history with your pets.
Yeah, I don't know if I should talk about the pets. People will think I'm weird out the gate. But so I live in Long Island, New York.
Long Island.
Yeah, with my wonderful fiance, April, and my son, who actually just moved out because he's 24 and he's into the next chapter in his life.
Congratulations.
So we're missing him terribly. And yeah, we do some cat rescues. So it's kind of, it's like a not a healthy stock market as far as, we have 10 today and not 10, so it goes up and down, but yeah, we're cat lovers.
Right. You have a passion for cats, and so do I. I love that.
Okay, thank you.
And so you have been in the real estate industry for years. So tell us a little bit about your background and then also what you currently do to help people.
Yeah. So, well, if you want to go way back real quick, so I'll just give the Reader's Digest version. So maybe people will appreciate some of what we'll chat about. My dad passed when I was really young, 14 years old, and my mom and I weren't doing well. So I became an emancipated minor at 16 and was living on my own. I had my own apartment. I was working 3 jobs. I was still going to high school. And so pretty much at a young age, Allison, I was about survival, and about...
and this is in New York, correct?
This is in New York, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So... So then I heard about, so I always had a lot of jobs. I mean, I was just, an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm. When you were 16?
Yeah, actually before my first job, one of my first jobs was a newspaper route, which those were like, you manage your own activities, you had to collect money. So there was nobody telling you what to do. The only thing I had to do is pick up papers at 5 a.m. And then after that, I had to make sure I distribute them by a certain time and collect the payments from people anyway. So, but the other job I had, and this was at 14, I was a clown magician, Bobo.
Bobo the clown.
Yeah. I mean, check this out. This is like 14 years old, right? I studied magic on my own. I created my own show. And, it's just crazy at 14.
Yeah, at 14.
Back on it now. Yeah. So, and I was booked a lot, and I love children. So, so that was something that I did. So that was one of my first careers.
Oh my gosh.
And there's more. I have a full history.
You have a full resume.
I do. We don't have enough time on this show. But then I got into real estate, because I was also a frustrated actor. The joke, Allison, is when you tell people, "Oh, I'm an actor," they go, "Oh, really? What restaurant are you playing?" Right. So, I didn't want to be that. So I was trying to figure out, how can I still survive and make money and pursue acting, make my own hours. And so I got interested in real estate.
When you were 16, or how old are you?
No, now I was 19. So we're fast forwarding, right? So I was going to college. I was a theater major, and I was watching television, and there was an infomercial about buying real estate, no money down. So I didn't go into doing that, but the concept of real estate and being a professional. So while I was in college, I took the necessary class I needed so I can take an exam to get licensed in the state of New York, and became very successful at that. And then I managed an office, opened up an office. Then I started speaking and then training, and now I'm here with you.
Oh my gosh. So your whole, I mean, since you were 19, you've been in real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Well, when I met you and you told me about your book, A Life Worth Smiling About, this is something that also has impacted you as far as business. So tell me why a smile is so important. So you're very driven. I mean, at a very young age, you were an entrepreneur, you were surviving, you were successful, you had passion. So why has a smile helped you? I mean, throughout life, you have had, a more challenging life being independent when you're 16 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So how has the smile really helped you? And then also, what would it do for our own personal and professional life?
Yeah. So that's a great question. How I wrote the book, so people understand this too, because you're right. I mean, I've been in real estate for more than half my life, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a time, so I've always been a student of, looking at who we are as human beings, what makes us tick,
Mm-hmm.
because I had to basically, I raised myself,
Mm-hmm.
even though when my dad passed at 14, my mom was not kind of there. That's why I became man say at 16. So pretty much at 14, I had to raise me.
Mm-hmm.
And understand how to deal with stress and challenges and breakdowns and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it was hard, but that made me a student of the inquiry of human beings, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I heard about this great class at Berkeley University called The Science of Happiness.
Mm-hmm.
And I took that class, and in that class, they had a study about smiling.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, that's odd. Like, who studies that? So I'm like, is there more studies? And so I started Googling, and I was shocked to see how many studies were done on smiling.
Mm-hmm.
So it brought me down this rabbit hole of that. And then I started blogging about it and video and did it. And then McGraw-Hill said to me, you should write a book on this. I'm like, okay. And so, bada bing, that's how the book came out. And so, and then I started speaking, outside of the real estate industry, like the orthodontist industry, dentists, but how it helps, smiling, it's really, listen, I can talk for hours about this because it's so amazing to me. I'll just share a couple of things. First of all, one of the studies that I discovered, Allison, was called the Botox study.
Oh, yeah.
And the reason why, and you've read the book, so you know where I'm going with this,
Mm-hmm.
that they have found that people, all right, let's back up.
Okay.
We have 44 muscles in our face that can make thousands of facial expressions. Unless if you had a lot of plastic surgery, then it would only be 5. But anyway, so these muscles, when we smile, of the 44, we use 12 of the 44 muscles.
Mm-hmm.
You've heard that expression, takes more muscles to frown. It's actually not true. It takes more muscles to smile. When we frown, we only use 10 because we're relaxing our face. Mm-hmm. But when you go to a comedy club, you're like, oh, my face hurts.
Yes.
Right, because you're using more muscles.
You're using more.
Yeah. So when we smile, we use 12 of those. Okay, now, when what happens is very technical. The muscles are the trigger for the brain to generate the feel-good chemicals associated with happiness. It's like a light switch. When you smile, the brain says, oh, those muscles are telling me to generate dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins, the feel-good chemicals. Mm-hmm. Now, the Botox study. What they found is when you have Botox injections that do any of those 12 smile muscles, they have found that those patients had an increase in depression. Mm. And the reason why is because they turned off the muscles that generate the happy chemicals. Mm. So truly, smiling is important for a human being's emotional well-being.
Mm-hmm. Because of the reaction it has with your brain. I mean, it has a physical reaction.
Yes, because your brain, when you think about, Allison, love, passion, joy, anger, mm-hmm. frustration, where is that in the body? It's not happening in your finger. It ain't happening in your elbow. It's happening in your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Feelings are nothing more than chemicals in the brain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so what they found, and we can see this now, I mean, we have the technology where we can actually see feelings.
Mm-hmm.
And they have found, one of those, the pencil study. Again, you remember that in the book.
Yep.
So they can see when we do this, the chemicals, the happy chemicals, joy, happiness, they go up in the brain.
Mm-hmm.
So it truly is like the more you smile, it's almost like an antidepressant without the prescription, because it's impossible for you to have negative and positive at the same time. It's really one or the other. So when your happiness chemicals go up, your negative chemicals, the stress, the cortisol, all those chemicals, they go down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's why, like you were talking about you jogging before we started this, that they have found when you smile more, it acts as a pain reducer on a physical level.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So, yes. Anyway.
Yeah, because I make myself fake. It's a total fake smile. We just did a half marathon yesterday, and the last couple miles were brutal, but I made myself smile and say, this is so fun. You're not sore at all. And it really does help. So, and people ask me, they said, well, is a fake smile, does that even help? So what advice would you say about fake smiling?
Okay, so that's interesting. So there is studies now about the fake smile could actually do the opposite because the brain knows that it's fake.
Interesting.
And so it can actually do the opposite of making you feel better.
So it has to be genuine.
It has to be. It's called a Duchenne smile, which came from a French professor. I forget his first name, but his last name was Duchenne. And this goes back to the 1800s, actually. So what he did is he actually studied the smile muscles. And the Duchenne smile are the ones that uses the eye muscles. So it's a deep. So
you get everything smiling.
You get everything going.
Yep.
If you do the Pan Am smile, that's the fake smile the brain knows.
Got it. And they do say that, like you can tell with a real smile because your eyes are also part of your muscles that are being used, correct?
Yeah, you can, it was Tara Banks that actually, because I was watching that show that she had about models and stuff.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And she had said in one of her shows about modeling is you have to, it's called the SMIES. I'm screwing it up. She came up with a name. Essentially what you were saying is you combine the smile with your eyes. It's a smile.
Oh, I like it. Okay.
It has to be that. So she's giving her own name to the Duchenne smile, which is, yes, it's that deep, authentic smile.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, because, you're a great example that you had a very challenging childhood, and you made your success happen, and your attitude, your smile definitely contributed to that. How you and I are both very into gratitude. I have a gratitude list daily. I think about what I'm grateful for. When people don't have a lot to smile about, what advice would you give them?
Great question. So I assert that everybody, even people that feel that they don't have a lot to smile about, has something to smile about, but they're just not seeing it because they're so immersed in what they don't have to smile about. So they have to work at really looking for the reasons to have an attitude of gratitude. Because I will guarantee you that the worst person attitude, there's somebody, because they've got a lot of troubles and challenges, I guarantee you I can find somebody who's got it worse than them. There's somebody always that would look at your life and say, boy, I wish I had your life. So a technique that I find helps, because I had a student, she came to me once, she was really depressed. Now, I'm not a doctor or a psychologist, but, I do what I can. Anyway, she comes to me, Allison, and she was super depressed. And so I said to her, do me a favor, just for that, let's do an experiment. every night or in the morning before you get ready, either way, is write down a list of all the things that you accomplished. So not a gratitude list, but an accomplishment list. What did you accomplish that day? And do that every day. So I saw her a month later. She came back. She said, Darryl, I stopped doing the list after two weeks. It was such a great experience for me because I can see that, you know what, there are things that I'm accomplishing that will give me reasons to have gratitude, but I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't acknowledging it.
Good. So focus on what we have had, focus on what we have achieved as opposed to what we don't have.
Yeah, if you look at, listen, if anybody just takes at the end of the day, they say, all right, what'd you accomplish today? The fact that if you got up at whatever time, 6 in the morning, and it's now 6 o'clock at night, in the 12 hours, you had to accomplish something.
Right?
Right? Even if I bought me a sandwich, awesome.
You ate.
You ate. Because you know what? There's some people in Uganda or some that they're like if they eat once a week.
Right.
So, yes.
Good. I love that. Woo! All right.
Cowbell conversation.
That's a cowbell idea because we can always find a reason to smile. We just have to make sure that we are smiling and giving that chemical reaction to our brain, but then also just being more thoughtful on focusing what we're grateful for and what we have accomplished. I love that. Absolutely. Now, you primarily focus on the real estate industry, so tell us what you do and then also how can people find you to get coaching?
So my website is darrylspeaks.com, which, by the way, is also, Allison, our social media. So if you went on everything, so twitter.com/Darryl Speaks. Okay, YouTube is Darryl Speaks. LinkedIn,
and that's
Darryl Speaks. R's. It's, yes, 2 R's, Darryl Speaks, which is, by the way, the correct way. Spell Darryl.
And then how do you help real estate agents?
Allison, we have a coaching program. We really are focused just on this. They're called Power Agents. It's one of the 3 books that I wrote for McGraw-Hill, How to Become a Power Agent. We have the registered trademark for Power Agent in the real estate industry. So it's a coaching program that is the entry level is only, right now, it's only $27 a month. We're raising it, but that's what it is. Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Well, thank you again for being my friend, for being so passionate about smiling, people, and also just life.
Yes. Thank you. And thank you for what you do, Allison. Appreciate it. All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye. Thank you.